Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Guest today, Justin Andrews. Justin, it's great to have you on. I appreciate you hopping on with me today. Please let us know where you're calling in from, first of all, and what you do for a living with Urja.
Yeah, I'm calling in from Lowell, Massachusetts, and Urja is a new coconut water brand. We are the first one to produce a fresh bottled coconut water. It's a patent pending process. We worked on it for a few years to develop the process. Basically, we extract the coconut water and, cold filter it and package within an hour without any heat pasteurization, sugars, or any preservatives. So it's just, you get that experience of drinking straight from a coconut. So we are the first one to do it. And we just launched in the US, in New York and New Jersey, into Fairway Markets, ShopRite, and other independent stores in New York City. So it was in October of 2023. So my background is, I'm from an IT background. I used to work as an engineer in IT until 2016. And I quit my job and started the CPG business because I grew up in Kerala, India. Basically, it's actually called Land of Coconut. So I grew up around coconut. So it's natural for me to start something in that which have that taste of real coconut water. And a lot of these coconut water brands in the US are either sweetened or added preservatives and doesn't really taste fresh. So that's why I thought I have an opportunity to make it better and come up with our own coconut water. And I worked on it for years, and it was not easy. We actually did a soft launch just before COVID, and what happened? And we were in around 40 stores in the Boston area, but most of our stores closed, and then we have to pull it back, and then we have to relaunch again back into 2023.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And obviously, doing so many CPG interviews is obviously a common experience, folks. Doing things through COVID right when you started, right? So, so I guess I'm curious, through that pivot that you had to make during that time, did you kind of transition to doing more kind of online selling during that time? And also, how much are you doing in online sales versus what you do in your retail or wholesale sales today?
So before COVID, we didn't really have an even functional website to sell online because when we launched, we were totally concentrating on retail, right? And also ours is a perishable product. So it's not easy to send perishable product, e-commerce. We were in a situation like our retail is kind of closed. So we have to switch back to visit to online, and we kind of collaborated with the local e-commerce provider, and then we worked in the Boston area to do mostly local deliveries and stuff like that. And we did it for almost a year, and we did some traction around Boston, and then we slowly moved to Amazon, and also we came up with our own website. We launched like 6 months ago, and that's doing pretty good. But we just launched, and we are coming with brand awareness, and we haven't really started much of paid ads or something like that. So we are in the early innings of all these. And the interesting thing about commerce is we have a almost 60% reorder rate, which is very interesting for us,
that's awesome. Yeah.
Very, very, very happy about 60% of customers reorder our product because of the quality of it. But we have to double down on that and do a lot of customer education and reach out to more customers and more like an omni-channel experience. We want to do retail plus online to get that name out there.
Yeah, it's definitely something I find reviewing a lot of CPG brands too is, so many people, a lot of companies propped up during 2018, 2019, right before COVID, and going through that experience, realizing that if you had all your eggs in the wholesale basket, it can kind of all be ripped away from you almost in no time. If anything like that happens again, I think it's really important that you do maintain an omni-channel approach, whether it's Amazon, your own e-commerce store, different marketplaces, and being actually, selling to wholesale or brick and mortar stores. I think it's a good outlook and a great perspective. And a lot of people had to learn that the hard way, unfortunately. So we take those lessons now. We're starting new brands here like you did in your 2023 launch, right? No, that's awesome. I love that. And what do you think is driving that such a high reorder rate? That's pretty impressive for only having a website for 6 months and not doing much in the way of paid advertising or anything yet. So, what kind of feedback do you get from customers when they come back and reorder? And what do you think is driving that mostly?
The main feedback is it's almost almost like drinking from a coconut. The fresh coconut water experience, they never get anywhere. And we also try to focus on the customer experience, right? We send our product in an insulated with thermal liners, make sure every orders, they reach to them perfect condition. Most of our competitors, they sell it like without an insulation. Most of them, I saw them like it gets perished and it might get fermented and all that stuff. So even though it's expensive to send in insulated containers, we do that. And so we make sure every order gets out properly and get it to customers. So we really like to take care of our customers instead of looking for new ones. We try to take care of the ones which you already have. And then we are trying to get that reputation out to make sure people reorder. So we are really focusing on that. And the main thing is, as I said, it's a fresh feeling they get. Mostly the people who already tasted fresh coconut water, most of the people who already tasted fresh coconut water in a tropical country, they actually know how fresh coconut water tastes like. But most of the Americans, they probably think sweetened coconut water is the coconut water that it is. And because I get this feedback when we do demos in stores, like they say, oh, this is not that sweet. It tastes like fresh coconut water. And they always ask, is it added sugar? I said, no, this is not added sugar. There's no added sugars. Again, it's fresh. That's we really concentrate on. That's what people love it.
I'll admit that's definitely been my experience. I always assumed that the coconut water I tried, if I bought like something from the gas station, was not how like right from a coconut would taste, but I've never had that. So I just didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I know you're obviously you take this approach to not have any added sweeteners or any preservatives or anything in there. So how do you kind of grapple with the challenge that poses? Obviously, people use preservatives so that like, they can have a months and months on end shelf stability, but like obviously it's not good for us. Obviously, people are looking for things without preservatives. But how do you kind of grapple with that? Maybe is there kind of a shortened shelf life with this product when you do sell into stores? And how do you kind of approach those conversations with your buyers?
Great question. It's always challenging to work with fresh products, perishable products, right? You always have a short shelf life. Our product, actually, we ship it from India, frozen. So we don't really lose much of our shelf life in the container. And once it comes to the US, we store it in a frozen storage. Whenever we need distributors, we give it to the distributors. It's actually those in their warehouse. And we actually get 3 to 6 months shelf life in refrigerator.
Wow.
Yeah. Our technology is basically, it's an aseptic packaging, means we package it without any kind of contamination. So as I said, we kind of drill a needle into the coconut and suck out the coconut water without any oxygen contact. And then once we get it out, we immediately package within an hour. That's our technology. We just cold filter it, and without any contamination, we package it. So because of that, we get up to 6 months of shelf life.
That's pretty impressive. It's honestly a lot longer than I would expect with something that is like super fresh without anything added to it.
I mean, most of the fresh products, I mean, if you look at fresh orange juice, fresh apple juice, most of them do something called high pressure processing. And the way they cold press it, get the juice, in that case itself, they may be contaminated with a lot of bacteria and all that. The product already contaminated, and then they do high pressure processing. They're probably not going to get much of shelf life because of that. Just maybe 1 or 2 months. And then most of these products get wasted on retail shelves because they're not having a high sell-through rate, especially as a new brand. It's going to be tough because if it's not a high area in the retail store, it's also harder. So, but we kind of improved our shelf life. And I mean, we don't have an year at this point. Maybe we'll get there, but without still keeping it fresh, we were able to get up to 6 months of shelf life.
That's amazing. I love that. And did you kind of work with somebody in India to kind of make this like proprietary technology and process to be able to make the juice this way? Or was it something that already existed that you are just kind of utilizing for this specific purpose? Or how did you kind of come into this? Yeah,
exactly. So years ago, like in 2017, I consulted with scientists in Illinois Institute of Technology from the Food Institute. So that's where I started. So I worked with scientists, and then we developed, the technology, how to process it. And then we improved all the years how to do it. The, filtration, our products, the filtration system is really sustainable. We don't waste a lot of filters. We use mostly SS filters, which can be reusable. And our technology is a proprietary, and it's patent pending. Right now, we are the only ones.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
We are the only ones doing fresh coconut water at this point. Even though we should see some of those coconut water in the produce aisle, in the refrigerator section, they are not really fresh. They are pasteurized, but because of other reasons they are on those shelves.
It's awesome. And then I guess when you think about moving forward, obviously you're clearly doing a lot of organic growth, either word of mouth marketing and obviously recurring business, which is free, which is amazing because they already know about you, right? But moving forward, as you think about more outreach in your direct to consumer sales, I mean, what kind of channels are you thinking about utilizing as far as like whether it's paid advertising or social media or maybe any marketplaces? Where do you see the brand going forward on the online channels?
In terms of e-commerce, you probably know this marketplaces things are popping up everywhere, like Fair, Mabel. We are on both of those marketplaces. Independent stores can directly order with us. We do that, and we have quite a bit of traffic through Fair and Mabel. And then we are also looking at Walmart marketplaces, maybe some wholesale on Amazon. Right now, Mabel is actually directly working with distributors like McLean and US Foods. So that's another thing. We are also trying to work with gyms and yoga centers and stuff like that. Yeah, there is so many avenues there. The only thing is we don't have time to get into all those different venues. We would love to have to get into all these places to that omni-channel approach. Like, we'll find the place where our consumers are.
I can obviously see this being kind of beneficial and applicable to the people from all walks of life, different age groups, different kind of like lifestyle groups. As far as you can tell from the direct to consumer selling you're doing now, what does your kind of customer demographic look like mostly? The people that are reordering that has become really popular with?
As I said, the people who already have experience with fresh coconut water, that's our core consumers right now. It's like, if you look at the niche, the people who already experience fresh coconut water, like mostly the people from Caribbeans or Asian countries, those are the ones really get it, right? And they, oh, wow, this is fresh. This exactly feel like I had this fresh coconut from Jamaica or some other Asian country where they actually drank it from a fresh coconut. That's our niche right now. And as anything, we were thinking like that niche could grow into like more like a network effect and get to other demographic.
For sure. And I usually like to ask this question with something like this. How do you kind of go about, if somebody's curious about the difference with your product as opposed to like maybe something they can find at the grocery store that might be sweetened or pasteurized or have all the preservatives? What kind of channels do you utilize, and let people know, maybe whether it's through your website or whatever it is, or maybe even on the packaging itself, to do that kind of like little bit of consumer education to let people know that, what you're doing is a little bit different than what they will typically find in a different like coconut water product?
We coined the term called cold crafted. That's our patented process. Basically, we say that means never heated or pasteurized. It's raw, fresh, and never heated or pasteurized. 99% of the products in the grocery store are either heat pasteurized. So heat pasteurization means that is a conventional method of making a food product, shelf stable, so that it sit on the shelf for like 2 to 3 years. It's basically your nutrition of the products actually cut in half because of that. Your vitamins and minerals, it degrades because of pasteurization. And also the flavor get reduced too. So we kind of, especially when we do demos, we actually tell them this is fresh, get more nutrients, more natural electrolytes because it's not cooked. And also this is beneficial enzymes in this coconut water called polyphenols. We kind of retain those. These will help with your brain health, skin health, vitamin C. All that stuff is retained in our coconut water because of we don't pasteurize it. And another thing is our coconut water is naturally sweet. But if you look at most of the coconut waters, our coconut water is almost half the sugar, natural sugar, than what's on the shelves. You'll get better coconut water, better nutritious coconut water, and natural electrolytes, and also half the sugar of the other brands.
You kind of have a built-in advantage there, because I think one of the biggest trends with food, I think in the past couple of years, has been like kind of like the functionality of food. Like obviously, people are kind of moving away from the processed foods and kind of starting to wise up to the fact that you buy like this. You see this like ground beef at the grocery store. It's like bleeding neon red. It's like, why does it look like that? You know what I mean? Like, so people are kind of starting to wise up to those things. But I think like even further than that, people are really looking for a functionality out of the things that they're buying, whether it is supporting your neuroplasticity or your brain health or your gut health. With like kombucha has been like huge the past few years, and like because people can really feel those effects from something natural like a kombucha or a product like yours. I think that could be a really interesting messaging for maybe people who aren't in your initial niche that you're working in now that like already know that taste, so they resonate with the taste. I could definitely see that. But can you tell me a little bit more about that? What kind of goes into these? What is in the coconut water that's good for your brain health specifically?
Coconut water has natural electrolytes, right? Electrolytes help with your hydration, replenishing your fluid, and that's your main thing in coconut water. So it's basically help with natural electrolyte. It's good for your skin, good for your body, and also if you are doing a lot of workout in the gym, it helps you with replenishing your fluids. It's a natural way to keep it hydration and refresh your senses. Basically, I do yoga almost every day. So my first thing is, have a bottle of coconut water before my yoga, and it just put me into that zone and help me with, all that stuff. I mean, naturally, every day before yoga, it's just my brain reminds, okay, you have to drink coconut water. And so that's what I start with. So it's really helps you with balance your electrolytes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. And also, one question I always love to ask everybody that comes on the podcast. I know your launch was just last October. You said October 23rd. Yeah. But even still, I mean, from that time, clearly you've probably gone through a lot. You've learned a lot about e-commerce, selling into stores and all that kind of stuff still, even in that amount of time. So if you could go back to when you were like right before your launch and give yourself any piece of advice, knowing everything you know now after your launch, what do you think that one piece of advice would be?
All right. So many things, but, we are a bootstrap business. We raised a little bit of angel money, but still a bootstrap business. But I wish I hired more people to help me with launch. And I mean, so many things going on, and also hire better. I hired few people, most times, especially bootstrap business don't know how to hire. And I'm learning still now just to hire people. Mostly we want people to do a lot of things. One of the mistakes I made is when I hire people, I give them so many things to do, and they could not do all those things, and they get messed up in all those different things. So I wish I had people better, and I'm getting better at it. I don't nowadays. I just say this is a one single thing. I want you to do, and be the best in it. So hiring is one of those things I'm improving.
Yeah.
Hire people. You have 1,000 things to do, but you can only focus on few things and do those few things better than anybody else. So
I think that's really good advice. And it's actually a pretty unique answer to that question. A lot of answers I get to that are hilariously, a lot of people when I ask that question, their knee-jerk reaction is like, don't do it. Keep your day job.
Oh, no.
They're obviously right after no, I would not change it for the world, obviously. But some people's just immediate reaction is man, I wish I just kept my job. I love that advice. And I think it's really important for anybody listening who might be a younger entrepreneur, and younger, not even, I don't mean in age, but I just mean, maybe off on their first capital venture for the first time. I think there's this kind of misconception out there. You think about as a first time entrepreneur, you think about what the life of an entrepreneur looks like and try to find that within yourself. And I think what a lot of people see from the outside looking in on social media and just listening to people's stories is you have to do everything yourself and work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years and years on end. But it's not really an efficient way to approach a launch or approach the day-to-day operations of a business. I think it's a really important perspective you mentioned, which is if you need to take on the things that are most important that you believe in, that you're going to do, and be the best at that, and hire people who can also do that. I think it's a really important perspective. I think people can fall into this trap, especially early on with their brands, to try to think that they need to do everything themselves all the time until they've made $5 million and they can start hiring or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. Social media, there's a lot of misconception about I went from 0 to 1 million in 6 months, all that stuff. And people believe there's a lot of bullshit on it, and especially on Twitter. And so in terms of hiring, I would recommend people, if the people you're hiring is bringing in money, why not, right? If you're hiring somebody for $5,000 a month, and if they can bring in $20,000 a month, through sales, why not hire them?
Yeah, easy, right?
So that should be your thinking about, if this person is going to bring in sales, why not hire them? Don't try to do everything by yourself. You're not going to you'll get burned out, and then, you'll be doing this for all your life if you just do everything by yourself, and it's impossible. You're kind of killing your dream if you try to do it by yourself. I know, because most entrepreneurs want to do everything perfect, and then they have hard time delegating your task, which you used to do by yours. There's a fact that, whomever you hire won't be able to do whatever you're doing perfect the first time, but if you train them, they will get there. So you have to let go of that thing, I have to do everything and it has to be perfect, and then waste time just doing that. Then you're gonna, drop the ball on something which is very important, which you should be doing. So there's so much of things in entrepreneurship, nobody teaches you in school or, focus on finding people to do those things and, delegate, and then, get to a point where you can generate revenue for your business.
It's so true. It's so true. I really appreciate that advice. That's a really unique answer to that question. I really appreciate that. Justin, I just want to give you an opportunity as well, just right before we hop off here, just to, plug your website, any social media pages people should know about, or just the best way to keep in touch with you if they're interested in maybe a potential business partnership, or just check out the website, maybe place an order and want to check out the product. Let people know how to stay in touch with you.
Sure. So again, my company is Urja Coconut Water. URJA. Urja means positive energy in Sanskrit. It's Indian.
Oh, that's beautiful. I meant to ask you that, by the way. So I thank you for saying that. I meant to ask you.
Yeah, it's from Sanskrit. It's an ancient Indian language.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks that right now. It's actually means positive energy. So our mission is, make real food with real ingredients. So that's our mission. And our vision is to have, make real food accessible to a lot of people, like at scale. So we'll be coming up with all these beverage and food options in the future, aligning with our mission. So to order our coconut water, if you want to try it, it's at www.drinkurja.com. You can place an order, or also it's available on Amazon. You can search for Urja coconut water, URJA, and it's available there. And also, if you are in New York City and New Jersey, we are available in Fairway, Gourmet Garage, and ShopRites.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you again. Congratulations on your launch. I just want to wish you the best of luck, continued success going forward. I really look forward to staying in touch, and I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, thanks, Matt, for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, everybody.